Hey guys, what's up man? Welcome to another amazing vlog. Check it out. Today we're starting something absolutely different, something cool, something that we sat and brainstormed and figured out. And we decided we're doing like a couples kind of vibe, and it's actually a series. So it's going to continue over a bunch of days, weeks, however how long we're gonna continue with the series.
So the name is the Collab. So
welcome
to the Collab. On the count of three, welcome to the Collab.
1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to the Collab.
Yeah, that's a nice video.
So we decided to call today's episode Marriage Counselling because Anka and Xavier needed some marriage counselling. And so it's only obvious that they come to the expert, Arlene. I'm kidding.
No, I'm no expert. But what we did say that we would sit down and discuss is having tough conversations in marriages. What we've both picked up, both of us as couples, is that people in marriage struggle to have tough conversations, and often you end up sweeping things under the carpet, and it's just not healthy.
And then also, just deal with it in how you guys deal with it and how we deal with it.
Yes.
Because, like we've said in our previous vlogs, that we don't know everything. We have two opinions now, but it's worked for us. So maybe we can help someone else out there. Also deal with their tough conversations the way we would.
And again, I would, to add on to that is that I guess different people then would relate in different ways to one another. They'd understand each other differently. So there might be different points of views or ways to actually get around it.
Okay, so how long have you guys been married?
Okay, you've been married longer than us. We're going for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we're going for 5
Going for
years.
5.
So
Okay, so that means you have to go first.
Okay, so the way Anka and I, so just to put it out there, disclaimer, the first year of marriage, Anka and I's marriage was the opposite of, dating, happy, and then get married, and then things,
And then get to know
and then start fighting. Ours was the opposite. Ours was like in the beginning, because then remember our situation was a bit unique, seeing that we come from different countries, that we were checking on Facebook for the most part of our dating experience or dating time or dating life. And so when we finally did get to meet each other in 2013 it was, and we finally got to speak in person and actually see who we are for the first time, flesh, like in front of each other, then it was like, okay, this is real. This is not on Facebook, hey baby, miss you, I was thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, okay, it's real life now.
And we decided then and there we're going to get married. So 1 month later we were married.
So
we were engaged, and 9 months later we were married.
yeah, so the whole thing was like, if you're living there, I'm living here. It's not going to make sense to fly over the whole time. It's expensive. Is it going to work? What if you meet someone else? What if I meet? If we're going to go for it, let's go for it. And we were like, okay, let's go for it.
So we went for it in our first year. How was that?
The
Plus?
first year was an absolute nightmare. So it was fighting constantly. I remember one day we were driving back from Rosebank, right?
We had to
And
pull over.
it was crazy, bro. We
It
were
was clash of-
arguing, like,
It was clash of the titans because I'm also I used to be very hard-headed, so
and
like
opinionated.
I need to be heard. So it was the biggest fight we've ever had, and we had to pull over to sort of like, because I wasn't keeping quiet, he wasn't keeping quiet, and we would
And
just
it was
go
like
at
boom,
it.
boom, boom, boom.
And
I was
then-
like, I'm not gonna settle down. You settle down. Right, bah, bah, bah. So it was like, okay, this is not working. We need to come up with a better solution than shouting each other.
And we've had most of our tough conversations in the 3.5 years we've married. We've had most of our toughest conversations in that first year.
Yeah.
So we had to have a courtroom set up by that table.
We had to have like, okay,
Yeah.
wait, how are we gonna? Because clearly fighting is not sorting this out.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of couples, one wants to be louder than the other one wants to be
And
right, the
both are
other one
right.
also wants to be right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're both right.
So
And we're both
where
loud.
are we going?
So where are we going? What's the point? How do we come to a conclusion? So that day in the car, we came home. It was like, that silent moment of you go there, I go here. So I'm sitting watching TV,
And
she's in
silent
the room.
treatment isn't
And it's like,
investigation
okay, so
either.
we're clearly not working this out. How are we going to deal with this? And then eventually we had to kind of formulate a solution as to how we're going to. And then I said to her, okay, maybe look, the best thing to do is, this is my point of view. This is your point of view. We both think or feel that we're right, but what is going to help the actual situation moving forward?
So what we did was that when we do speak about tough conversations, like when the one speaks, the other keeps quiet completely. And it's not, yeah, but you also do this. There's no buts. Leave the platform for the one. And no matter how hard it is, let the one finish and pack out all the dirt, regardless of what it is. And then when you get to speak, it's your platform.
And that was the most challenging thing. Where we sat on that table there, and I said, okay, this is how we're gonna have to deal with it. You can pull out all your shots, like give it to me, like say that you did this, you said this, you blah 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 blah. But say it in a loving way. Don't say it in a way that you're coming down on me, because then obviously I'm gonna become offensive. I'm like, yeah, but blah blah. And then in my mind I'm formulating like rebuttals for everything she's saying. She's like, okay, she said that, but I did that because of this. And so you're already coming up with like a kind of an excuse in your mind as to why you did what you did.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, I'm not going to come up with any excuses. If I'm wrong, then at the end of your thing, before I start how I feel, I must say, okay, I shouldn't have shouted, I shouldn't have walked away.
And when we do say sorry, we can't say but. Because
there's no but.
You just override the whole apology.
If you say sorry, it's done. I was wrong, done, finish. I'm not going to say, yeah, but you see, I did this because you said that. And especially like when there's people around and there's a bit of a misunderstanding. It's like, okay, now, we have to play this in a certain way that we'll deal with this after. And the biggest thing, something I learned from my dad was that don't try to deal with the situation on the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Let it calm down and then deal with it in a more private setting perhaps, or deal with it when it's the two of you. So if we have a misunderstanding here and we all feel like it's getting awkward, then maybe later I must say, Dad, let's go to McDonald's and just grab something. And we'll listen that day. I didn't really feel, I felt like you disrespected me in a certain way. And then maybe we come to a conclusion like
when you're sober-minded.
Yeah, because now you're upset and you wanna.
Because my personality is that way. Leave me to defuse a couple of days. But
Couple of days.
Preferably.
So
Preferably couple
we've
of
learned to
hours.
sort it out as soon as possible. And there were many other times. The times I take a walk to the park. There was one day we fought like hectic. It wasn't like, we don't fight like throw things around. We just, it gets the atmosphere gets thick, like, okay.
It's more the tension. There's no
The
shouting.
tension, yeah.
It's not,
There's a tension. You can feel like,
can't
okay,
do
we're not happy. And then Eva was crying. She was a bit younger. And I told Anka, it's almost as if she can feel that we're having a misunderstanding. Let me take her for a walk. I'm not upset. I'm not slamming the doors, nothing. Close the door nicely, and I took my daughter for a walk. We were there at the park. I was pushing on the swing. Just to like, whoosa. Then when I came back, then we had our little sit down. Because now it's more like, okay.
It's really good. I think what you said is, one of the things that you said is what we have taken as well. Is like when we have a conversation, or when I feel like he's done something that's wrong, I don't say, yeah, you did this. I say, I feel like what you did. So I don't accuse him. I think that was one of the first things for us.
And we implemented that even during dating. So we said whenever we fight or whenever we disagree, we always start our sentences with I feel like, and as opposed to you did, so it's always about I feel. So we make it reflective, and as a result, it puts the other person in a position where, okay, what did I do to let Arlene feel like that?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we've done.
I think one of the other things for me was I'm a talker, and when I'm upset, I want to talk and I want to hash it out and finish it now. But Darren is not like that. So Darren is like, I'll talk and he'll listen and be like, okay. And I'm like, but what do you think? Like, what do you
want
feel?
him to say something.
I want you to retaliate. I want you to say something.
Yeah.
But I had to learn really early on. What he's quiet. He'll speak to me when he's ready. And there was one time, like when we first got married, I don't even remember what we fought about, but I remember that being one of our biggest fights where we didn't speak for like 3 days in the house.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking the same example.
I came, and I mean, we are talkers, like we're best friends. It was a hard time.
Only happened that
And it was only that time
So
that
you're both going to be a
yeah. And I mean, we were newlyweds, and I got home and there was like this big suitcase standing next to the couch, and I was like, this guy is leaving, but my heart dropped. I was like, no, he's going. Then he says to me, I'm going to glisten, and I'm like, are you really going to glisten? Then I sat down and I listened to him, and then he told me how he felt, and then I picked up the case and it was empty. He was joking.
So in my mind, I just thought, okay, I need to
scare her. I need to like,
no, not even. I said I'm going to play a joke on her.
Just to like.
And so I said, okay, let me play a joke and I'm going to leave my suitcase there. But it backfired completely.
Because I was finished. I cried. I was like, oh my God, he's leaving. He's leaving.
So that's the last
I would be like, yeah, good for you.
I'm playing that song of Emily Sand and my baby's got a suit Okay, so whole thing.
I'd be like, yeah, you better cry.
But for us in that fight, we had to sort it out because we had made plans with our friends a couple of weeks before, and that evening we were going to see them. So we was like, that afternoon was our only time to hash this thing out. We had to go to our friends and make sure that things were fine.
Yeah.
We're not the kind of people that fight in public and everybody must know that something's going on. Like stuff stays at home, you know. So we've just learned to deal with conflict that way. But even in saying that, we've learned that we have to have the hard conversations.
Yes.
We can't sweep things under the carpet because it kind of leaves things to fester and grow. And I mean, the Word of God says that light exposes the darkness. You know, there can't be darkness where there's light.
Yeah.
So things can't grow where there's light. Things can't grow where it's dark and it's damp and it's. So yeah.
Also, you know, another thing, I think us as women sometimes what we do is we kind of like hint, and then we throw like a tantrum, and they don't know. And that's one thing that we've also done. Don't hint, say it. Because I'll hint and I'll throw the dishes around, and he'll be like, is this
why are you making a noise? The kids are sleeping.
You know, that kind of thing. He's like, you're gonna break my dishes. So don't hint. Because that's where most of the misunderstandings come from. Because you feel like, can this man not understand why I don't, you know? And he's like, what is wrong with this woman? She's making a noise, you know. Don't hint. Say it like it is. Call a spade and sort it out. It's much easier than letting it fester because you think like, I'm letting him know in my own way.
No,
Yeah.
so but I feel like what's overlapping between our stories and how we deal with it is the fact that you have to actually sit down. But the major thing is that you're not coming at the next person.
Yes.
Because for me, in anything, not even outside of just relationship or marriage, even in a friendship situation, if I'm gonna come at you, automatically you're gonna go on the defense, like, yo, dude, don't speak to me like that, you know. In that, especially, you know the book Love and Respect, and then it says that women want love and men want respect. Yeah, there's a book my dad gave us that, like, when he saw that these two are arguing.
But that's so true, because that's something that I picked up as well, is that for a woman, love is love.
Yes.
For a man, respect is
respect.
love.
So if you're gonna come and talk down on me, automatically you're gonna throw me off, and then we're not gonna get anywhere.
Yes, it's very
and if I'm not gonna show love, then I'm throwing her off. It's like, so if we can balance that thing of like, okay,
it's not so much what you say, it's
so
how you say it.
So some in the beginning, I used to come at me. I'm like, baby, I hear what you say, but if you can just say it to me in a way that I can
And
comprehend.
I'm thinking, but I'm just saying what is on my heart. I'm just saying what I'm feeling. What is wrong with this man?
I think the other thing, one of the biggest things for me as well, was knowing that if he said something that hurt me, I know that he didn't do it on purpose because I know that he loves me. So maybe it's something that I've taken wrong, or maybe it was something that was just said in the heat of the moment. So I think for me, the foundation of our marriage, or one of the foundations, was knowing that, you know what, he's not doing it to hurt me on purpose.
He would
not
never
being
do it
malicious.
intentionally.
Yes.
I think something that's worked really well for us as well is especially when we've left things for too long, or we've left it for, you know what I'm saying? So what we do is schedule time to talk about it. So I think by scheduling time, it helps both of us to come prepared to the conversation. So we know, you know what, yes, it's going to be a tough conversation, but I don't need to go there with guns blazing, because I've had some time to process it. I've had some time to work through the emotions and to plan my approach.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
Have you found that when you do that, you actually, when you know that you had that time to think, you actually come more with a, okay, maybe I was actually wrong. Maybe I should have done. And so by the time you actually speak, it's like,
You've done enough.
you've already done so much
pursue peace quicker.
You've done introspection to the point where you're also thinking, okay, maybe I was a bit unreasonable. And so maybe that's a good approach actually.
Yeah, I think that's very good. I think one of the other things that we can say to whoever might be watching is that what works for us and what works for you might not work for the next person. So I think you have to come to a sort of common ground with your husband, with your spouse, to see what works for you guys, you know?
But I feel like that's so good, that's very good. But I also think we need to set boundaries up front.
Yes.
And I feel like this is where a lot of couples get it wrong. Because with us, we discussed from the word go. So when the day comes and we have to fight, how are we going to fight? You know what I'm saying? And so it's easy to think, we'll deal with it when we get there. But in that moment, we need to be able to remember, you know what, we promised each other that we would never swear. You know what I'm saying? So that boundary's there, doesn't matter how heated it gets,
we keep it.
We don't violate.
We've got
that.
the boundary.
Yeah.
And so it's so important to set the boundaries when things are good.
Yeah.
Set boundaries during that honeymoon phase when all you can
Yeah.
see is
Say to each other, baby, when
Yeah.
we fight it. Don't
When we fight, don't even do this.
throw things around. Don't do silly
But
things.
it's so true because once disrespect settles in, you can throw the whole
I feel like
piece out the door, everything.
I feel like on Arlene's point that it doesn't work the same for everyone. I would agree 100% on that point. However, I feel like there are fundamental
Yes.
kind of foundations that the way we speak to each other, the
Yes.
level of respect. Because I
Yes.
felt like once respect's gone out the way, once we swear at each other, then it's like, hey bro, now we're on a different level.
Yeah.
Why are we even speaking to one another? Once we're throwing each other with something,
physical.
like physically actually
Yeah.
pushing each other, then it's like, okay, now we're on a different spot altogether now.
And
This
I think
is
it's all
counseling.
like
We
that.
need
Yes.
counseling now.
Yes.
You know, because now it's now got to a point where we need a mediator.
Yes.
Because now we can't even
Yeah, we can't
really
sort
speak.
this out between
Yeah.
ourselves.
This is where you need to actually now really go
Yeah.
see a counselor or a mediator.
Yes.
very good.
It's very good. Mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
We said so much. Yeah. Mutual respect, set boundaries,
Yes.
Make time to talk.
schedule time to
Schedule
talk.
time to understand one another, that the woman wants love and the man wants
Each
respect.
other's love
Yeah.
language.
And
Love and
introspect.
respect.
I think
Yeah.
introspect was another one that came through strong
Yes,
as
that
well.
was a strong one.
It was a very good one.
So,
Great.
guys, thank you so much for watching our first episode, first installment on our, what do we call it?
The
The
collab.
collab.
The collab. I'll
Yeah.
get it by the next episode. I'll get it. So thank you guys so much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bounce between one another's channels, obviously, and so yeah. So if you guys are watching on either one of the two channels, please do support. Please go over to Darren and Arlene's channel. It's called August Everyday, and go check it out. And just go hit the subscribe button like crazy. Go drop a comment, say what you feel, what your ideas are, and how you perhaps deal with your situation. And then also don't forget, after you hit the subscribe button, hit that little notification bell so you know every time we upload something, you right there and you get it. So that's August Everyday. Then obviously on the Hendricks family, do the same. Subscribe, like, drop a comment. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.